Hey there, Wendy.
Hey Ruth, nice to see you. Long time no
Nice to
see.
see. Yes, today we are a little bit early. I know that hopefully we get some people here following us. Our normal session starts right at noon, but we decided to start a little bit earlier today and take our real life, real growth podcast to our third episode. I'm excited about it today.
Me too, for sure. And seeing here, I love that we're doing this because we're learning. Technology changes all the time, and I have a button that says share video. So I'm just sharing it out to a few people, see if they'll jump on with us. And I'm looking forward to hearing how your week went.
So is the share video the little round circles, or is that flipping my camera?
That's going to flip your camera, so don't do that. I have a pop-up that has share video, and I don't know, as the host, maybe you don't have that. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyways, we're here. If you are logged on with us, thank you for being here with us today. This is our third episode of Real Life, Real Growth. And I wanted, and I talked to Wendy, we had a discussion because we did have a guest that was an attendee on this podcast who said, "Hey, Ruth, you know what? What about if we talked a little bit more about the atomic habit and that 1% change. So, Wendy and I, we talked about maybe bringing that subject back today. And I just want to add on to that. If you improve just a little bit, that 1%, and you make it better every day, in the book, Atomic Habits, James Clear, which is the author of that, says in 1 year could lead you to be 30 plus times better than you when you started. So I think that's a great goal of achieving. And you went dark on me, Wendy. And there you go, you're back.
I'm
So
playing with more buttons here.
yeah, so if you start incorporating 1% change, but it's really going to improve your life. It's really going to improve your business. But on the flip side too, Wendy, right? If you compound that 1% into something negative, unfortunately, every single one of your days are going to get worse, right? And you're going to start declining significantly. So you really need to focus on the positives of that 1%. Don't take everything at once, just do baby steps and focus on whatever system that you're trying to achieve or whatever goal you're trying to do, and shift your mentality, shift your conversation, and that you're going to have a lot of dramatic changes when it comes to that 1%.
Yeah, I really like that. And I like where you're going with, that yes, the 1% can take you in a really good direction, and the 1% can take you in a not so good direction. And it kind of relates to what I want to put out there for my challenge this week. And so just showing up here for us, like these are those baby steps that we said we wanted to take, and we're learning as we go. We're doing these challenges, and one of the things I noticed over this last week is, and I have a very glass half full mentality. I always look at the positive, but it's getting to be a time of year when there's a lot of things pulling on our attention. We're being spread a little more thin than usual. And I definitely was starting to feel a little glass half empty in some certain circumstances. And I was like, I've got to flip this around. And I think as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday, my challenge this next coming week is going to be to do a gratitude practice every morning. And I think that's going to really help me in that incremental way turn around my glass half empty mindset that I've been falling into, which is not normal for me, is not natural for me. So it feels even worse because of that. You know, when you're someone who's normally always looking at the bright side, to be like, well, this sucks, that sucks. It's like, wait a minute, you know, this just feels terrible to me. So I love it. And I've got my sneakers on. I'm at my standing desk. So I'm definitely doing a lot of little things to just move in a very positive direction. What were your thoughts in terms of those small steps that we can all take?
Um, First, I want to go back to what you just said
Sure.
about that gratitude process. I love that. So I do want to ask you a question about that. What
Yep.
is your process? What is the practice that you're going to have to include that 1% of gratitude into your day to day? I'm really intrigued by that.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, this is what I was thinking. I've added that 20 minutes, everything in addition to everything else I'm doing, a 20-minute walk every single day. Feet on the pavement. If I have to pull out my walking pad because it's junky weather, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to continue that and then add into it. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I like doing the ABCs. And as I'm walking, I think of something that starts with A that I'm grateful for. Keep going, think of something that starts with the letter B that I'm grateful for, and so on and so forth. So that's my plan. I might try some other strategies, but the ABCs is the one I'm going to start with. And I bet it'll take the whole alphabet. And if I'm not through the alphabet, maybe I walk longer.
I love that. And I think I'm going to steal that from you
Good,
because,
good.
I walk every morning. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm out there. Today was super cold here in Florida. But
Mm-hmm.
I put on my gear and I went out there, even with the cold, and I walked. And on Mondays, I usually listen to a podcast that a friend of mine has, which is really good. But from Tuesday through Friday, I'm listening to music. And normally my sister will come and walk with me. But if I can do that with my sister and both of us incorporate that using the ABCs of what we're grateful for, I think I'm going to steal that. If you allow me to borrow that
Of
from you
course,
and
of
add
course.
that as well. And I think that when you have that 1% change on a positive, you're really changing your mind to move in a direction that is really going to influence you. It's going to motivate you. It's going to inspire you to have a good day, right? I think that is going to make a difference in not only what your day is going to look like, but it's going to make a big difference on what your business is going to, how your business is going to flow. Because if your mindset is in a negative way, and we're humans, right? Humans, we normally have bad days, and that's just a reality. However, how you take that negativity and transform it into something positive is really going to make you think differently. And when you think differently, you act differently, right? Your actions are different. So if I incorporate that 1%, at least when I'm walking as well, like you're going to be doing, I think that's going to make a big, big, big difference. Now, on the flip side, and I'll let you know what your negative, you can tell me what your negative is. On the flip side, I told you guys last week that I was going to try to say no. And it's so funny because as soon as I said that, the next day, I got called to be on Channel 6 to interview for real estate. And I called Wendy right away because we had a meeting that we had to both be in. And I said, Wendy, I just told you yesterday that I was going to say no more times. And I got this call and I couldn't say no to that, right? But I want to go back to that this week and incorporate saying no to something that is, maybe I'll have a good time, maybe I'll socialize a lot, but I need to focus more on me than actually going out there and socializing. And I'm I'm a social bug, so I do like to go out. I like to engage. I like to network with people. But sometimes, you just have to slow down and do something for yourself. And I love whatever cookie you have there. That's so cool. Love it. So that's my positive. That's my negative. What's yours?
Yeah, so I'll comment on yours just briefly, because I can't not comment that, of course, when they call for you to come on TV, you go. There's no saying no to that. And I'm so happy that you were able to have that experience and get that exposure, but also so happy for anyone who was viewing that they got to hear your words of wisdom about the real estate market. Just very, very cool. And I loved seeing the pictures. So yeah, you didn't say no, but I think that I don't know if I would call that garbage. I would call that's garbage that turned into gold because yeah, you didn't follow what you set out to do, but there's certain things that you have to jump when it comes. And so I'm so happy that happened. For me, this past week, I did a lot of tracking. I said I was going to get my little my Bite Pal rolling again, and I did it 3 days out of 7, which is not great. I mean, well,
But
thank
it's
you.
still something.
It really does illustrate that small steps making the big changes. So I'll shoot to do more this coming week. And that would be my plan too, to just keep adding on to what we're doing. So not necessarily saying, okay, I did that. Now I'm done. What's next? I think this really relates to atomic habits and how things can grow so exponentially. I'm going to just keep adding things that can enhance what I'm already doing, that can, feed the growth of what I'm already doing. So yeah, 3 days out of 7 with the Bite Pal food tracker. And I named my little panda, Trash, no, he's a raccoon, I guess. I named him Trash Panda, which I don't know if that's nice or not, but that's what raccoons are known as, being trash pandas. And he is so cute. And he was on life support because I had not been in the app for a while. And then the gold this past week, I had just a great day on Saturday with my husband. And honestly, we kind of did what you were talking about. We did nothing. We said no to leaving the house. We said no to getting dressed before noontime. And it was really the kind of recharge that we both needed. And everyone is just so go, go, go. And so we decided to stop. And that was just gold.
That's wonderful. My raccoon, his name is Booba.
Oh, that's
So,
right. You told me that.
yeah, Booba told me the other day that if I didn't feed him, that he was going to go steal the food from from my neighbor. So, I don't want problems with my neighbor, so I actually fed Booba. But
Love it.
and I want to say I didn't do all day, every single day either, and I want to say I did 4 days, four
Okay.
out of the 7. So I tracked that and it did well. I am eating better, which is so great for my health, for my mentality, for my weight. All of that is important. But I do want to talk about 5 phrases that came out before we log off today, because those of you
Yeah.
who don't know, Wendy and I are going to a very special AI training today, so we don't want to miss that. And we logged on a little bit earlier because we didn't want to miss providing you guys with this information. But in the book, there's a couple of phrases that I thought was very important in reference to the 1%. And I have them in my computer here, and I'm just going to read them and read them on the side. One is,
Yeah.
habits are
Awesome.
the compound interest of self-improvement, right? If you want to improve whatever it is, whether it's something related to your own life, something related to your business, something related if you are in real estate, whatever it is, remember that those habits are compound interest of self-improvement. Second one is, if you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, I already mentioned this, you'll end up 37 times better by the end of the year. That's fantastic.
That's huge.
37% better is
Huge.
better than 0%, right, Wendy? So,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you not need to do. The third one is, what appears to be rapid shift is often preceded by gradual process. I experienced this myself, and I know you, Wendy, said that as well. We started these diets, we started doing these things. It didn't really work out for us because we were full force into it, and we weren't doing it at 1% at a time. So, you really want to make sure that your process is gradual. It says our results gradually explode or vanish thanks to the small habits we repeat each day. And then the last two is you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, right?
That's my
If you don't have a
favorite.
system in place for that 1%, unfortunately, you're going to fall to that. And then the last one, and I'll pass the mic over to you, Wendy. It's the accumulation of many missteps, right? A 1% decline here and there that eventually leads to a problem. I think those are the four supporting phrases that I think that was fantastic in this book in relation to that 1% improvement that you're trying to do for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And just to, share again for anyone who ends up listening, the reason Ruth and I are doing this is we are coaches in our professional lives. And we realized that, we wanted to do more in terms of walking the walk. And I'm not saying that we don't walk the walk, but when you are day in, day out, giving advice to people, sharing strategies, but you're not implementing them yourself, or you're not implementing enough of them yourself, it starts to feel a little inauthentic. And so I really love that doing this with you, Ruth, is bringing us both back to our authentic selves. And it's something we both love, obviously. So when you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like work. And the last quote from James for a sec, that's definitely my favorite. And another one that I remember.
For some reason, I
The
don't hear
sum of,
you.
oh no,
Okay, now I
okay.
hear you. Now I hear you.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, so who you are is the sum of all of your habits is one of the ones I remember really well. So I want to have those good habits so that who I am is a sum of good habits, not, the ones that I don't want. And I'm a reader, and I have a book club every month, and we've read a lot of books together for our book clubs for work that we've done. And I was also finding that I was like the weekend before, the day before book club, like cramming to finish the book. And so I had gotten out of that habit too of kind of, doing a little reading all the time over the course of a month. And so I got back into that reading habit. My daughter, Julia, she's reading The Fourth Wing, which is such a great book. And she's really trying to get into the habit. So we started like, same thing every day, saying, all right, we're going to read for half an hour. And then you get into it and you love it. And you forget why you were even like casting it aside to begin with. So my book club book is finished. And I grabbed another one. And I love Gretchen Rubin, so I'm doing like a reread of all my Gretchen Rubin books. And you made me think of this one. So this one's Happier at Home. And so it's kiss more, jump more, abandon a project, say no, and my other experiments in the practice of everyday life. So she gets into like how freeing saying no is, like you were mentioning. Um, so let me ask you this, Ruth, and I know we've covered a lot, but I do want to go back to your saying no thing. Did you say no to anything that you would have typically said yes to?
Yes, I
Okay.
said no to an invite that I had this weekend that I just needed to stay home and relax and just,
Yeah.
I had the energy that I could have gone, but I decided that I was not going. And I think it was really good. I stayed home. My husband and we watched a movie. I'm not a TV person. Everybody knows that. I'm just like Wendy. I'm a book person. And I love reading books. And I sat and watched the whole movie with my husband on, I think it was on Netflix or something, with Jason Statham, I think his name is.
Okay.
Strat, yeah, and really good. His movies are pretty much always the same, but they're really good action movie. And we laughed together. It was funny. We were sitting on the bed watching this movie. In the middle of the movie, I stopped and I said, "Honey, can you go get me some chips?" And he looks at me and he's like, "Really? You want me to stop the movie? You want me to go get you some chips?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why don't you go?" I'm like, "Because I don't want
I'm
to."
so
So,
comfortable.
and he's like, "Okay." And he went and got me some chips. But just wanted to share that funny story. He's like, "Next time I ask you, you don't have to
It's
stop and
your
go get
turn
it for me."
next. That's right. It's your
So
turn
I did
next. I
say
love
no,
that.
and I spent some quality time with, with the people that means the most, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
we're so involved with our businesses, our jobs, our social life, that sometimes we forget about those who mean the most. And we know that they're always going to be there for us, and we're always going to be there for them. But making that 1% change of spending time with those people, that's incredible. There's a saying in life that says you only live once. I think that's the wrong saying. That's not true. You live every single day. You only die once. So those days that you are living, enjoy it with those people that mean the most. Make that 1% change.
Yeah, and you're such a great example of that, Ruth. Honestly, I don't know where you get the energy sometimes, but it's so funny because there's others that really need to put themselves out there, and for you, the 1% change is to, maybe just scale back a little bit. So do what fits you, right? And that's a big part of it too, figuring out who you are, what you value, and where you're going to spend your time. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, that's how this kind of all started for us. We wanted to make sure that we were using our time in ways that were the most beneficial to us, the most beneficial to, those who are important to us, the most beneficial to us professionally, because if you are, in good shape in all the other areas of your life, you're going to bring your best self to you as a professional. So I love being on this journey with you. I had one other thing I was going to say, and now I forget. Oh, I know. I tried a new setup today, but I got one of those little um, those little suction cup things that you put on the back of your phone, and I suction cupped it to my computer, and I kind of like it. I like how this is working out. I just need to get like a little, I do have my flag out for Veterans Day, but I need to get a better like background if I'm going to keep doing it this way. So anyway,
Love that.
little changes.
I do want to say, now that you mentioned Happy Veterans Day, to everybody
Yes.
who have served, those who have sacrificed for our freedom. My dad was in the army, and I know what it is for that sacrifice. So I truly honor you guys today. I know that our freedom is not free without all of those veterans who are out there sacrificing their time, sacrificing their lives. So happy Veterans Day to all of you. Happy Veterans to all of the families that also sacrifice their husbands, their wife, their children to, for them to go and serve and create this freedom that we all share, and this freedom that sometimes we take advantage of. So happy Veterans to everybody, Veterans Day
Yes.
to everybody. Happy birthday to my older sister. Today's her birthday as well. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I'm just going to say thank you so much for logging on or watching this later. We really do appreciate you. And we are excited to continue. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Wendy, and she could end us today.
Yeah, and I know we said we weren't going to go quite as long, but let me share one more thing since it is Veterans Day. My application is in for the Daughters of the American Revolution, and that organization is for direct descendants of patriots from the Revolutionary War. And so on my father's side of the family, we had a patriot who fought in the Revolutionary War. My aunt did all of the research to get us to a place as a family where we could be part of this organization. We have it documented. And she's elderly now. And she would bring it up, and, myself, all my cousins, we'd put it off. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But now I finally have said, you know what, this can't end with her. We need to keep this documented. And it's a service organization, and they're doing a lot today for Veterans Day. And I'm really excited to be more involved with them. It's really it's just humbling and heartfelt, and so just moving, all the things they do for veterans, because they're all related in some way, shape, or form to a patriot. So I think in December, I'll have my official membership, and I'll take the oath and be part of it. And I'll keep you posted on that, because Veterans Day is very meaningful for anyone who has had family members fight in a war. And we're very fortunate that we're free because of all of them.
Yes, thanks for sharing that story. That was fantastic, very heartfelt. And let me tell you, it takes a courageous person to volunteer and to participate in associations and groups like that. I'm a big believer in volunteering your time and whatever feels good to you, right? So I applaud you, standing ovation. That's a phenomenal organization. I'm glad that you put your application in for that. So.
Thank you. Thanks, Ruth. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And let's get 1% better this week.
Yes, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, Wendy. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a great day.